Have you ever wondered how your body processes the food you eat? Well, that's where the incredible journey of digestion begins. This intricate process is like a well-oiled machine, working tirelessly from the moment you take your first bite to the moment it leaves your body as waste. It's not just about getting rid of what you've consumed, though. The primary purpose of digestion is to break down the food we eat into nutrients, which our body can then use for energy, growth, and cell repair. This journey is a fascinating one, taking place within different stations, each with its own unique role. These stations include our mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. Each one is a crucial part of the process, ensuring every bit of nutrient and energy is extracted from our food. So you might be thinking, what's happening when I take that first bite? Let's journey together into this fascinating world of digestion. The process of digestion begins in the mouth. It's a bustling hub of activity where the initial breakdown of food takes place. The teeth, like nature's own cutlery set, chop, grind, and tear the food into smaller pieces. This increases the food's surface area, allowing digestive enzymes to work more efficiently later on. Meanwhile, the salivary glands spring into action, producing saliva. This isn't just any ordinary fluid, mind you. Saliva is a special concoction, a cocktail of water, enzymes, and electrolytes. The enzyme known as amylase gets to work on starches in your food, converting them into sugars. This begins the chemical process of digestion right in your mouth. The tongue, far from being a silent observer, is a key player in this process. Not only does it help you taste your food, but it also helps to mix that food with saliva, creating a soft, easily swallowed mass called a bolus. Swallowing might seem like a simple act, but it's actually a complex process that involves a precise sequence of actions. When you swallow, the tongue pushes the bolus towards the back of your mouth and into the pharynx, a crossroads for both food and air. Here's where the epiglottis, a small flap of tissue, steps in. It's like a traffic cop, directing the flow of food and air to their appropriate destinations. As you swallow, the epiglottis swings down to cover the windpipe, ensuring that food and liquid take the right turn down your esophagus and not the wrong turn into your lungs. The esophagus, a muscular tube, takes over from here. Through a series of rhythmic muscle contractions called peristalsis, it propels the bolus towards the stomach. It's like a conveyor belt, moving the food along on its digestive journey. And that's the story of how digestion begins. From the crunch of your first bite to the final swallow, your mouth and esophagus play a crucial role in preparing your food for its long journey ahead. Once swallowed, the food then travels down the esophagus to reach the stomach. The stomach is where the real magic happens. Indeed, this muscular bag plays a starring role in the grand spectacle of digestion. It's a bit like a natural food processor, but instead of sharp blades, it uses potent stomach acid and powerful enzymes. Imagine the food you've just swallowed as a troupe of performers, about to put on a show. They've made it past the esophagus stage, and now they're in the stomach's spotlight. Here, the stomach's gastric glands get to work, producing gastric juice. This juice is a potent concoction of hydrochloric acid, water, and enzymes. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, able to break down food particles, while enzymes like pepsin start the process of protein digestion. But the stomach is not just a passive container, it's an active participant in digestion. You see, the stomach walls are lined with muscles that contract and relax, churning the food and gastric juices together. This muscular movement is a bit like a dance, a rhythmic, pulsating motion that ensures the food and gastric juices are thoroughly mixed. This dance, this churning and mixing, is vital, as it helps break down the food into smaller particles. It's a bit like kneading dough, where the continuous movement helps to mix all the ingredients evenly. This process also exposes more of the food surface area to the stomach acid and enzymes, ensuring a more efficient digestion. The end result of all this activity is a semi-fluid mass called chyme. Chyme might not look very appetizing, but it's a crucial step in digestion. It's the product of the stomach's hard work, a testament to the power of the stomach's acid and enzymes and the rhythmic dance of its muscles. And so, the performers, the food particles, have been transformed, ready for the next act of digestion. The stomach's job is done. It's time for the chyme to move on to the next stage, the small intestine, where it will be further digested and absorbed. The stomach turns the food into a semi-fluid mass called chyme, which then moves into the small intestine. And with that, the curtain falls on the stomach's performance in the digestive play. But remember, the show is far from over. There's still plenty more to learn in the fascinating world of digestion. The small intestine is where most of the digestion and absorption of nutrients occur. This tubular structure, coiled up in your abdomen, is deceptively named. Despite being called the small intestine, it's actually the longest part of your digestive tract. Stretching about 20 feet, it's here that the real magic of digestion happens. Now, the food that arrives from the stomach is already partially digested, but it still needs a bit of work. That's where the pancreas and the liver come into play. The pancreas produces enzymes, while the liver produces bile. Both of these substances are crucial for breaking down food further. Enzymes from the pancreas help to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. They're like the demolition crew of the digestive system, breaking food down into smaller, manageable pieces. On the other hand, bile from the liver helps to emulsify fats, making them easier to digest. It's like the dish soap of the digestive system, breaking up fat into tiny droplets that can be more easily broken down by the enzymes. Once the food is broken down into its smallest components, the small intestine is ready to do what it does best: absorb nutrients. The walls of the small intestine are lined with millions of tiny, finger-like projections called villi. These villi increase the surface area of the intestine, allowing it to absorb as many nutrients as possible. Imagine the small intestine as a busy port. The villi are the dock workers, tirelessly unloading the valuable cargo, nutrients from the food we eat, and sending them into the bloodstream. From there, these nutrients are shipped off to different parts of the body where they're needed. But not everything gets absorbed. Some parts of our food are indigestible, and that's okay. These parts simply pass through the small intestine and head towards their final destination, the large intestine. After the small intestine extracts all the nutrients it can, the remaining undigested food moves into the large intestine. And that, folks, is the small intestine's role in the amazing journey of digestion. The large intestine is the final stop in the digestive process. This organ, also known as the colon, has a vital role in our bodies. Even though it might seem like all the important work has already been done by the time the food reaches this point, the large intestine still has a vital mission to complete. In its journey through the digestive system, the food has been broken down, its nutrients have been absorbed, and what remains is mostly water and indigestible matter. It's the large intestine's job to transform this liquidy substance into a form that can be comfortably and efficiently expelled from the body. To do this, the large intestine absorbs the water and electrolytes such as sodium and chloride. This process is crucial for maintaining the body's fluid balance, a key aspect of our overall health. The large intestine also houses a complex ecosystem of bacteria, known as the gut microbiota. These friendly microbes aid in the fermentation of some of the remaining undigested food, particularly fibers, creating additional nutrients that our bodies can use, including certain vitamins and short-chain fatty acids. As the water is absorbed, the leftover matter becomes more solid, gradually forming the stool. The large intestine propels the stool towards the rectum, the final section of the digestive tract, thanks to rhythmic muscle contractions known as peristalsis. Here's a fascinating fact. The process of turning food into stool takes about 36 to 48 hours in total. It's a round-the-clock job for your large intestine, even when you're sleeping. Once the stool reaches the rectum, it's stored until it's time to be expelled from the body, a process known as defecation. This usually happens once or twice a day, but it can vary depending on the person and their diet. So, while it might not be the most glamorous part of digestion, the large intestine plays a crucial role in maintaining our health and comfort. And that, in a nutshell, is how your body processes the food you eat. So, to recap, digestion is a complex but vital process. It all starts in the mouth, where the food we eat is broken down by our teeth and saliva. This makes it easier to swallow and initiates the digestive process. The journey continues through the esophagus, a muscular tube that delivers the food to our stomach, where it's churned and mixed with gastric juices. These juices break down the food further into a substance that can be absorbed by our bodies. Next, the food moves into the small intestine, a 22-foot-long organ that absorbs nutrients and passes them into our bloodstream. Here, the real magic happens as our bodies extract energy and vital nutrients from the food. Finally, the leftovers make their way to the large intestine, where water and electrolytes are absorbed before the waste is expelled from the body. The next time you eat, take a moment to appreciate this incredible process that takes place within your body. Until then, keep feeding your curiosity.